Before we start with the regular agenda, however, I would like to turn the microphone over to Chief Mirciades, who would like to make a statement tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. As the 7th anniversary of Officer Brad Fox's loss approaches, I'd like to publicly remember the event that took him from us. On the evening of Thursday, September 13th, 2012, K-9 Officer Brad Fox of the Plymouth Township Police Department was on duty and assisting at the scene of a motor vehicle crash. While at the scene of this accident, another vehicle not involved recklessly sped by and nearly struck Officer Fox and his fellow officers. Officer Fox pursued this vehicle and continued to recklessly travel through Plymouth Township, forcing other motorists off the roadway and eventually striking another vehicle. The suspect then exited his vehicle while it was still moving and fled on foot. This vehicle would later be determined to be stolen, although at the time this information was not known to Officer Fox. The suspect fled on foot into an industrial area and along an elevated railroad track. The area was densely overgrown with vegetation that afforded a large area of cover and concealment to the suspect. Officer Fox, with his K-9 partner Nick by his side, continued to pursue after the suspect on foot. The suspect had not gone far and had taken up an elevated and concealed position. Armed with a semi-automatic handgun, the suspect ambushed and fired multiple rounds at Officer Fox and K-9 Nick. Officer Fox was mortally wounded, and Nick was injured from the gunfire as well, but thankfully survived. The weapon used to murder Officer Fox was later determined to have been bought illegally through a straw purchase. Assisting officers located Officer Fox in the difficult terrain, in large part because K-9 Nick, though wounded, had remained by his side. Officer Fox was a 5-year veteran of the Plymouth Township Police Department. He was murdered on the eve of his 35th birthday. Officer Fox and K-9 Nick were recent graduates of the Philadelphia Police K-9 Academy. They were cross-trained in both patrol duties and explosive detection. They faithfully served the residents of Plymouth Township and Montgomery County. They were also assigned to the Southeast Pennsylvania Regional Terrorism Task Force. Officer Fox is survived by his wife Lindsay, their young daughter, who had just turned 1 that April. And their baby son, who was born in the month of March after his death. He's also survived by his mother Kathy, his father Tom, as well as his brother Jimmy. Additionally, he's survived by the members of the Plymouth Township Police Department. All those who knew Brad still mourn every day over the loss of their husband, their father, their son, their brother, their partner, and their friend. A mourning that the men and women of this law enforcement community within this Commonwealth and around the nation know all too well. Officer Fox is a true hero who served his country in deed and not in talk. He is a Marine who served 2 combat tours in Iraq before joining the Plymouth Township Police Department. He was a loving husband, father, and son, a loyal friend, and a gifted athlete. He had an infectious laugh that is unforgettable. He is unforgettable. He is and will be forever missed. Thank you for joining me in honoring our fallen officer.
Chief, at your permission, can we do a moment of silence? Would that be okay? If we could all please rise for a moment of silence to remember Officer Brad Fox. Thank you. there any public comment on items on the agenda for tonight? Seeing none, we will move into our retirement resolution for Andy Mount, and that will go to Ms. Bramlett.
Thank you. Whereas Andrew Mount has diligently served the Plymouth Township Police Department as its fire marshal since January 26, 1998, and whereas as a dedicated fire marshal whose mission was to save lives and property from fires and other natural and man-made disasters, Andrew Mount answered unlimited calls during work and non-work hours, overseeing fires and emergencies occurring in the township and inspecting buildings to ensure their safety. He also earnestly performed his duties as the Emergency Management Coordinator for Plymouth Township and attended numerous trainings and seminars to keep up to date with the latest in fire safety. And whereas Andrew Mount has established October 1, 2019 as his retirement date, and whereas Plymouth Township desires to formally recognize and publicly express its appreciation for his valuable services. Now therefore be it resolved that Andrew Mount is hereby commended for more than 20 years of dedicated service to Plymouth Township. Be it further resolved that best wishes are extended to Andrew Mount for a productive and happy retirement. Be it further resolved that this resolution be officially entered in the official minutes of Plymouth Township, and that a copy of this resolution be publicly tendered to Andrew Mount, adopted this 9th day of September 2019 by the Plymouth Township Council. I make a motion that we adopt this resolution.
Motion by Ms. Bramlett, is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Ms. Bruno. Any questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from council? Ms. Bruno?
Andy, I just want to publicly thank you for all your service to Plymouth Township and its residents. It's been a pleasure working with you and learning about fire stuff. So I just wanted to let people know that. I think you did a great job, and have fun fishing.
Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Ms. Bramlett?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Congratulations. So with the retirement of our fire marshal, we also have an opportunity tonight to swear in 2 new deputy fire marshals for the township. So we will, I'll ask for the council to approve these appointments, and then we will do the swearing in of each one. So our first one is Chris Heleniak to be sworn in as deputy fire marshal, and I would ask for a motion to approve Christopher Heleniak to be sworn in as deputy fire marshal.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Ms. Bruno, second by Mr. Gannon. Any comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon.
In favor.
Ms. Bramlett.
In favor.
Ms. Bruno.
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. And our second appointee for deputy fire marshal tonight will be Michael Sturm. And I would ask for a motion to approve the appointment of Michael Sturm to the position of deputy fire marshal. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Bramlett, is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Ms. Bruno. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I will do a roll call vote. Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Congratulations to Mr. Heleniak and Mr. Sturm, and I would ask if the two of you can come down for your oaths of office.
Oh, gentlemen, who's ever holding the Bible for each of you, they could also come forward.
And please repeat after me. I, Christopher Heleniak, having been duly appointed to the office of Deputy Fire Marshal in and for the Township of Plymouth, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, do swear that I will support and obey the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Do swear that I will support and obey
Do swear that I will support and obey
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and that I will perform the duties of the above mentioned office with all fidelity. And I will perform the duties
support the duties
of the above mentioned office
of Deputy Fire Marshal
with all fidelity. Congratulations. I'm gonna make you I, Michael Sturm, having been duly appointed to the office of Deputy Fire Marshal in and for the Township of Plymouth, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, do swear that I will support and obey the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that I will perform the duties of the above mentioned office with all fidelity. Congratulations. Now we're going to move on to some Little League recognitions. We're going to recognize two of our Plymouth Little League teams this evening. The first one is a certificate of recognition, whereas the minors division, 8, 9, and 10-year-old Plymouth Little League softball team went through district play, dominating their opponents for the District 22 banner. And whereas after the district championship win, the minors division, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds Plymouth Little League softball tournament team went on to the great accomplishment of 2 victories in sectionals to earn a spot in the Section 8 championship game. And whereas the following 13 players received significant playing experience and made quality contributions: Addison Antonucci, Katie Dean, Emily Dabrowski, I thought the other one was tougher, Morgan Hegarty, Julia Lentz, Chloe Manning, Julia Maxwell, Ava McAvoy, Ellie McKernan, Jocelyn Perez, Anna Grace Powell, Maddie Swift, and Sophia Whiting. Whereas manager Nancy Perez and coaches Mike Antonucci, Dennis Dobrowski, and John Dean led the team to victory. Now therefore be it resolved that the minors division Plymouth Little League softball team is to be congratulated for its high achievement, and Plymouth Township Council extends its appreciation for the honor which the team brings to Plymouth Township, presented this 9th day of September 2019, Plymouth Township Council, and I would ask for a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gannon, second by Ms. Bramlett. Comments or questions from council? Comments or questions from the audience? Seeing none, I will do a roll call vote. Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Ms. Bramlett?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Congratulations, ladies. If you'd like to come up. We'll come down to you. Where's Emily? I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
Thank you.
Okay, and our next group's been here before, so they know how this all works. They're a very well-decorated team. Our next certificate of recognition, whereas Little League Softball Division 10, 11, 12-year-old Plymouth Little League Softball Tournament team went through the district play, dominating their opponents for the District 22 banner. And whereas after their divisional championship win, the Little League Division Plymouth Little League Softball Tournament team went on to the great accomplishment of 2 victories in sectionals to earn a spot in the Section 8 championship game. And whereas the following 13 players received significant playing experience and made quality contributions: Lindy Baradze, Marissa Caroluzzi, Kalina Childers, Ella Gibbons, Kaylin Kosvich, Riley Logan, Haley Lindley, Madison Moran, Marissa Perez, Julie Price, Samantha Skyvo, Livy Teeters, and Alexa Walton. Whereas manager Mike Perez and coaches Ryan Lindley, Alex Skyvo, and Lori Logan led the team to victory. Now therefore be it resolved that Little League Division Plymouth Little League Softball Tournament team is to be congratulated for its high achievement, and Plymouth Township Council extends its appreciation for the honor which the team brings to Plymouth Township, presented on this 9th day of September 2019. Is there a motion to approve this recognition?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Bruno. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gannon. Questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from council? I did just want to say that Plymouth Little League also, in addition to these honors, deserves a huge congratulations for all their efforts hosting this year's Little League Softball State Tournament. Beautiful job with the facility. Everything went off seemingly without a hitch. The weather was almost perfect, right? Almost. A couple little rainstorms, but really did a great job of representing Plymouth Township with the utmost pride. It was a very impressive several days this summer. Okay. Seeing no questions or comments, any other questions, comments, I'm sorry? Do a roll call vote. Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
Ms. Bramlett?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Congratulations.
Yeah, always has. Coach Stowe. Coach Stowe. I was the other day, I was down my son's there. 9 and 10 years old. He played against Shrubs. In the district. Actually, he wasn't coaching.
I think the tallest thing down here was super tall. The tallest thing down. Sandy.
I haven't been there, but my grandpa used to go every single day. And pictures of him as he was a photographer. The country is gorgeous.
We have one more presentation, and then I know that, not everybody wants to hear about our land development schedule and all that kind of stuff. So after we do our final presentation, feel free for anybody who wants to leave to do so. You won't offend us. So our final presentation tonight is a presentation on the Environmental Advisory Board, and I'm going to call on, I believe, Mr. Saby from the EAB to come forward.
Council, this is a word from the EAB. We thank you for adopting the resolution for Ready for 100 in April this year. In June, we had a conference in Ambler of 70 people attending in 19 municipalities. At that time, 10 had adopted the resolution. We were number 6 in April. Out of that 70 people, now we are starting to work on clean energy transitioning through the next year. We're starting to draft an RFP. So we've really got a lot of momentum in Montgomery County, and we're seeing in the national campaign as one of the leaders that Southeast Pennsylvania now has 21 communities, including Reading and Berks County, that have committed to this resolution. So I wanted to present this to the Environmental Board. I have 4 of us here that want to present this award to you that was given at that conference for the council. And could we get a picture?
Thank you. Sure.
Yep, come on. Thank you, thanks a lot. Nice to see you.
Okay, so at this time, anybody who is not dying to stay for the rest of the meeting, by all means, you're welcome to leave.
There you go.
Bye, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That's good. How about with you?
The mass exodus.
Yeah. Time to celebrate. Bye.
I know. It was fun.
Everything good? Good. What's that? Nah, that's it.
Yes.
Tell Eileen I
Come on
said
with
hi.
All by yourself.
How are you?
How are you? How did it look? Right. I was talking to him like the first day of school.
Really? Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Is family there, or is it? No, my wife and I are just going to Portugal. How long? 2 weeks. Have a
Doesn't count.
First 2 nights in the hotel. Oh, so you're just gonna hop around and see whatever? Yeah. Do you have a plan in mind? Yeah, I have an idea of geography.
We did that. We also made, for Spain, we also always did the last night there. So we had a place to stay close enough to the
Yeah. Well, we'll do that. I'll make arrangements when That's pretty smart. You can go online and get it. It's really easy.
first night and last
First night, last night.
night. And then after that, we just found
Where
something.
I'm going, I'm gonna get on a train. I'm going to Algarve, which is in the southern part. You can go on a train from Faro to Seville in 2.5 hours. Yeah. So we might, that might. Sounds like a plan. That we might do. We might do there. I always want to get to see.
When do you leave?
Friday.
Have fun.
It's gonna be great. What's weather like over this time of year? It's a little warmer. They're behind us a little bit in the season, or is it generally more equator band?
We can do that, sure. Sure. I'll just do these top couple things here first.
Minutes.
Okay, just a general announcement that an executive session was held on September 3rd, 2019. And at this time, I would like a motion to approve the minutes of our workshop meeting from August 5th and our regular meeting from August 12th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Bruno, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gannon. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I will do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Approval of departmental reports and bills. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Bruno, second by Mr. Gannon. Questions or comments from the audience? Questions or comments from council? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
And the chair votes in favor. Going to go just slightly out of order for our administration items and start with item B, which is a memorandum of agreement with our police officers, which we're pleased to announce tonight. This is a memorandum of agreement between the Plymouth Township and Plymouth Township police officers. This agreement is reached by and between Plymouth Township and the Plymouth Township police officers, whereas the township and the police officers are parties to a collective bargaining agreement that will expire on December 31st, 2019. And whereas the township and the police officers have been engaged in collective bargaining in accordance with Act 111 of 1968. Now, therefore, the township and the police officers have reached agreement on the terms of a new 3-year agreement effective January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2022. The parties recognize that the following terms will not be final and binding until ratified by the police officers and the governing body of the township. The terms of the agreement include the term. The agreement will be amended to provide for a 3-year contract covering the period from January 1, 2020 through December 31st, 2022. Salary. Article 2.1 of the agreement will be amended to provide the following across-the-board salary increases. January 1, 2020, 3.5%. January 1, 2021, 3.5%, and January 1, 2022, 3.5%. Continuation of existing terms. All terms and conditions of the current collective bargaining agreement between the parties will continue except as modified herein. I would like to ask for a motion from council to approve this memorandum of agreement between the township and the police officers.
So moved. Sorry.
Motion by Ms. Bramblett, second by Ms. Bruno. Any questions or comments from council? I would like to just read one statement from on behalf of council. I don't like to read prepared remarks, but I had to type this up so I didn't forget anything. Plymouth Council and our administrators from the township are very pleased to be able to make this announcement of this agreement tonight. One of the more difficult parts of our job as elected officials can be finding ways that we compensate our employees in a manner that's fair to them and competitive for them, but that's also fiscally responsible for the municipality. We believe that in this contract, both of those goals are accomplished. On both sides of the table, historically, there have been some difficult negotiation periods, but this time we feel as though we were able to come to an agreement expeditiously and in a manner that's respectful to both our officers and to our community. We're very proud of the work that the Plymouth Township Police Department gives all of us each and every day as they put their own lives on the line to protect ours. The department holds itself to high standards, and we believe this contract reflects the sense of duty and responsibility that they share each and every day. As we continue in our first year under the leadership of Chief Mirciades, Plymouth Council looks very forward to a continued strong relationship with our police officers as we continue to work together to keep our community safe for those who live here, for those who work here, and for those who pass through each day. Thank you. Any other comments? Ms.
I
Bruno?
just want to say thank you to Mark Lacey and Tom Marinello and Brian Wagner. Thank you. It was a pleasure working with you guys.
And I would just like to echo what Ms. Bruno said. It was a true pleasure to deal with you and to reach this agreement. And I agree with Mr. Monero that it does reflect the respect that all of us on council and in the township have for your service. It goes without saying, and Chief Mirciades referred to at the beginning, the opening of this meeting. You officers do put your lives on the line for us, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Amen.
Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor.
Get a picture of you guys, and Christy, you want to sign this? Officers already have signed. If you want to kind of stage this, or what, you want to go down there? Right on. Down.
Are we supposed to?
Are we going, all of us?
Yeah, sure. I think Marty, that's supposed to. No, I'll come down. Marty couldn't be here, but he wanted to have a picture, so.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you want a picture of like you're signing it? Do you have something that you can actually say?
We want to bring the paper up here and like.
Sure. Want to pretend to sign that again?
Already signed it once. I'll sign it twice. I'll sign it twice when we get 6 years.
That's good. And then did you want a group shot too?
No more pictures tonight, promise. Okay, next is pension fund minimum municipal obligation for 2020. Ms. Bramblett.
I thought we were gonna do the budget meetings. Okay.
I'll get back to that. I'm sorry.
Okay. State pension law requires that Plymouth Township Council approve our 2020 contributions to the police and civilian pension plans. This contribution is also known as the Minimum Municipal Obligation, MMO. Based on the calculations performed by the CBIZ, our actuary, I am recommending that we contribute $1,582,745 to the police pension plan and $1,001,349 to the civilian pension plan for the fiscal year 2020. The actuary is also recommending that we budget revenue of $763,555 for the anticipated state pension aid in 2020. The net pension cost to the township for both pension plans in 2020 will therefore be $1,820,539. This represents an approximate $40,000 reduction from 2019. And I make a motion that we approve the pension contribution for the year 2020.
Motion from Ms. Bramblett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gannon. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Moving back to item A, budget meeting dates announcement. Mr. Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The schedule for the 2020 budget meetings are as follows. Monday, October 21st, 2019, 6 p.m. is a public workshop. Monday, October 28th, 2019, 6 p.m. is a public workshop. Monday, November 18th, 2019, 6 p.m. is a public meeting and executive session. October council meetings are scheduled for the 7th and the 14th. November council meetings are scheduled for the 6th, which is a Wednesday, and the 11th. General election day is Tuesday, November 5th.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. Lafayette Street dedication ordinance, first and final consideration. Mike Clark is not here tonight, so Alex is here in his place.
Thank you. We have an ordinance in front of you this evening, an ordinance laying out and ordaining the tracts of land described herein being the bed of Lafayette Street as a public street, a private access easement, and a drainage easement in Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Section 1. The following described parcel or tract of land hereinafter to be designated as Lafayette Street is hereby laid out and ordained as a public street in Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Although certain descriptions of Lafayette Street, situated in Plymouth Township, as bound and described according to a plan prepared by McCormick Taylor, ROW Clearance Plan, dated 1/11/2013, last revised for the construction of Lafayette Street, which said street is more fully described as follows. Section 2. The above described street shall be placed on the official plan of the streets of Plymouth Township. Section 3. This article shall take effect on the 31st day after adoption pursuant to Section 504C of the Home Rule Charter. Section 4. If any provision or part of this ordinance is held invalid, the remaining provisions in part of this ordinance shall not be affected hereby. The application of this ordinance or any of its provisions or parts to any person, property, or circumstances is held invalid, the application of this ordinance to other persons, property, or circumstances shall not be affected hereby. Ordained and enacted by Council of Plymouth Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, this 9th day of September 2019.
Is there a motion to approve this consideration?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Yes, sir. Can you just, for the record officially, name, address? Thank you, sorry.
Richard Schickling from Boulder Road, Plymouth meeting. When will the street actually open to traffic?
They tell us late October of this year. Montgomery County's date.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Mr. Gannon?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Police and public safety, anything additional, chief?
No, sir.
Thank you. Moving on to engineering, Mr. Manai, anything?
There's nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you. Subdivision and land development, this is 100 Lee Drive, Ms. Bruno.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a letter here from, well, actually, it's an email to Dave Conroy. This is from W&A Engineering. I am hereby requesting an extension of 3 months for our land development submission of 100 Lee Drive. It's signed by John Williams, President and CEO. I make a motion, we accept his request.
Motion from Ms. Bruno, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gannon. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
And the chair votes in favor. Extension requests, Belvoir Road, Mr. Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a communication from Nicholas Couchet in reference to Selco Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless at 700 Belvoir Road. And they're asking for an extension up to and including October 21st, 2019. And I make a motion that we approve this.
Motion by Mr. Gannon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bramblett. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
And the chair votes in favor. Lilvin Enterprise, Mr. Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A communication from Randy Wolf on behalf of Lilvin Enterprises in reference to 800 to 820 Brook Road, and they're asking for an extension until November 30th, 2019. I make a motion that we approve this.
Motion by Mr. Gannon, is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Ms. Bruno. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
And the chair votes in favor. Alba Family, Mr. Gannon. I'm sorry, I skipped one. Colonial Middle
That's
School,
okay.
Mr. Gannon.
All right, this is a communication from Michael Clark on behalf of the Colonial School District. They're asking for an extension on or before December 9th, 2019. And I make a motion that we approve this.
Motion by Mr. Gannon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bramblett. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Escrow Release, I'm sorry, this one, Alba Family, Mr. Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a communication in reference to the Alba family, care of Sean Tamaro, and this is on Fairfield Road. Not sure the address here. But they're asking for a time extension to December 7th, 2019. Or, yes, 2019, and I make a motion that we approve this.
Motion by Mr. Gannon, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bramblett. Questions or comments from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
And the chair votes in favor. Escrow Release request for Arbor Square, Ms. Bramblett.
This is a request for an escrow release submitted by Lonnie Manai of Woodrow and Associates. At this time, based on field observations of work completed to date, they find that sufficient work has been completed to release the amount of $107,587.50. By releasing this amount, the total account balance for the project will be reduced to $2,044,254. And I make a motion that we allow this escrow release.
A motion by Ms. Bramblett. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Mr. Gannon. Question or comment from council? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Gannon?
In favor?
Ms. Bramblett?
In favor?
Ms. Bruno?
In favor.
And the chair votes in favor. Zoning, Ms. Bramblett.
The Zoning Hearing Board of Plymouth Township will hold a public hearing on Monday, September 16, 2019, commencing at 7 p.m. here in the Plymouth Township building. At that time, they will hear Alessandro Pileggi, application for a variance from Plymouth Township Zoning Ordinance 342. The variance requested is as follows: to allow a 40-foot by 40-foot detached garage where a maximum of 24 foot by 24 foot is allowed. This property is located at 405 Park Drive in a B residential zoning district. The second matter to be considered by Charlotte A. Bosciano on application for a variance from Plymouth Township zoning ordinance number 342. The variance requested is as follows: to allow a side yard setback of 5 feet 8 inches and an aggregate side yard setback of 14 feet 4 inches, where a minimum of 8 feet is required and a minimum aggregate of 20 feet is required. This property is located at 345 Jefferson Street in a D residential zoning district. And the third matter to be considered is by Matt Outdoor Pico on an application for variances from Plymouth Township zoning ordinance number 342. The variance requested by Matt Outdoor are as follows: to allow a total of 756 square feet of signage, where a maximum of 600 square feet is permitted; to allow an off-site advertising sign with a length of 36 feet, where a maximum of 20 feet is permitted; to be located less than the required 1,000 feet from the off-site advertising sign; to allow the proposed sign faces to be 25 feet apart, where a maximum of 15 feet is allowed; and to allow the image to change more than once every 60 seconds as required. This property is located at 1330 Conshohocken Road in a limited industrial and billboard overlay zoning districts. Any citizen of Plymouth Township or any interested party may attend the public hearing and have an opportunity to be heard.
Thank you, Ms. Bramlett. For Parks and Recreation, just an announcement for our Service and Devotion Monument. Individuals are still able to purchase bricks and pavers to honor a loved one who has served. 3 sizes are available: 4x8, 12x12, and 24x24, starting at $75. Pavers have the option for a logo for an additional charge. Available logos are Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and Plymouth Township Police, Plymouth Community Ambulance Association, Plymouth Fire Company, and Harmonville Fire Company. We are still seeking monetary donations from businesses who are interested in becoming a supporter. In return for a donation, a laser-etched granite plaque will be displayed prominently on the 3-tiered donor wall. Purchase of bricks and pavers is ongoing, and orders will be placed several times a year. For more information and order forms, visit www.plymouthcommunitycenter.org or call the GPCC. An announcement for our Parks Comp Plan meeting, Ms. Bramble.
The next Parks Comp Plan meeting will be held September 30th at 6 p.m. I believe it's at the community center? No, sorry, and it's here at the Township Building. Thank you.
Miscellaneous and old business, citizen board vacancies, Mr. Gannon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All residents wishing to serve on these citizen boards are asked to submit their resume or a letter stating their interest to the Township Manager at 700 Belvoir Road, Plymouth Meeting, 19462, or via email kweiss@plymouthtownship.org. The following citizen board positions are open: Building Code Appeals Board, there's 2 positions open, and Property Maintenance Code Appeals Board.
Thank you, Mr. Gannon. Audience participation, questions or comments from the audience?
Richard Schickling from Boulder Road. Question about the Ridge and Butler traffic light. I understand that traffic light belongs to White Marsh Township. Can we please ask White Marsh Township to increase the time allotted for people on Butler Pike to get through the light? It's very often that people are blocked up along the shopping center, and only about 6 cars get through the light, even if they're approaching the light. If there's a metal strip in the road that is supposed to calculate the next car coming, only about 6 cars can get through the light at any time. And it's rather frustrating when traffic starts to back up. And at this time of the year, naturally, things get worse. Sometimes the traffic backs up all the way to the Liberty gas station. And, it just seems like it's a bottleneck. And another question, am I gonna live long enough to see Butler Pike opened up into Plymouth Road? Any comments on that?
For your first question, is that accurate that that light belongs to White Marsh? Is that it?
I would have to check the list, but do you know offhand? We-
Make sure, but if it's them, I'll contact them, I'll be happy to. If it's
Okay.
us, then I will deal with it, I'll contact you.
Okay.
Either way, PennDOT has to approve any change.
Yeah, because the light timing is like really crazy. You know, Ridge Pike, sure, it's a busy thoroughfare, but, you know, Butler Pike is very busy too.
And your second question?
Question is, the underpass under the railroad, is it ever gonna open in my lifetime?
Well, I guess the last update from the county came about a month ago or so, and it's still
Not
essentially,
good.
it's on the same timetable that it has been, which we're looking at probably another year and a half,
Yeah.
roughly.
Okay.
The engineering phase, they say takes a
Alright.
long time, and that's where they're at
All
right
right,
now.
as a township, you have a little muscle. As a township, you could request, is there feasibility to extend Chemical Road underneath the railroad and run it to Plymouth Road? With a new underpass under the railroad and a little bridge over top of Plymouth Creek. If the other is going to be such a problem, why can't we extend Chemical Road?
I don't have an answer.
Think
to
about that.
offhand, but-
Well,
All right.
there's, the study that it would take to allow that to happen might be twice as long as the study that's going on now.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with the same, course.
Dealing with the railroad.
You're dealing with the same limestone.
Environmental, you're dealing
Yeah,
with
right.
the county,
Yeah.
yes.
Where would,
So
But
where would it go? Through the
Would-
Meeting House Business Center? Where would Chemical Road go?
would it go right through Chemical Road, all the way through, underneath the railroad, beside the Brandywine properties and the Danella properties, and go out onto Plymouth Road, and there'd probably be somebody's house that may need to be under
That-
eminent domain?
That would take a lot of eminent domain, because you're going through lots of private properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many,
Yes.
many. That would take probably 10 years or more.
Yeah. Nice idea, but
Yeah.
I think that's a longer
Well,
study and a longer
it's-
road.
it's something
No
that-
pun intended, road to hoe.
The foresight was never there when Chemical Road was actually built.
That's true.
So, you know, they've created two bottlenecks right there, and our township is strangling with it ever since. Third point is it possible with the Clean Air people or whoever we need to deal with to get an air monitoring station at Plymouth Fire Company on Caldwell Road, which is within a half mile of the trash to steam plant, and then we would know whether or not we have actual bad air or whether it's coming from somewhere else. The air occasionally, even in my neighborhood, gets pretty foul in the middle of the night when everybody else is asleep. But I'm one of those guys that sleeps with the windows open. And a couple of weekend nights, I noticed particularly on a weekend, that the stink comes over in my direction. So, could you look into that, please?
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Other questions or comments?
Kathy Bandish, Kings Road. I live in the neighbor of Richards, so I come out and take my life in my hands once a day usually, trying to make a left onto Germantown Pike from Sierra. But it's not as bad as for the people getting off buses. And I've been watching this. And there are buses that are stopping, and people are trying to cross Germantown Pike, right there at Chemical Road, and also Chemical Road, you know, from that direction too. I keep thinking someone soon is going to be hurt, seriously injured, or even, God forbid, killed. And we don't really have any kind of pedestrian crossing. We don't seem to acknowledge the fact that these people have a need to cross that road. I think it's something that we need to start to think about. In addition, there are a lot of people, I've talked with the people in the Plymouth meeting, the Friends Society, and they let people walk through their property because there's no sidewalk there. It's very narrow going down Butler Pike from Germantown Pike, and you make that left, but you get people coming up from buses, and they're trying to walk along to get up, toward Ridge Pike. There's no sidewalk, there's no easement or walkway. The meeting house is very nice to allow them to come onto their property and use that so that they can walk safely, but it really is something as a township we need to start to think about. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, is there a crosswalk at Chemical Road and Germantown Pike?
Yes.
And there's a long-term plan still for the cross-county trail to possibly build a bridge somewhere long-term?
It's in a plan.
In a plan somewhere?
It's in a plan. Yeah, they applied for a grant, but they were not successful in getting the grant, and I heard it was over $1 million, so I don't think they had the money to do it yet.
I was here about 5 years ago making a comment about that particular intersection of Chemical Road and Germantown Pike. And my comment then was, and it will be still, why can't Township ask SEPTA? SEPTA every now and then changes their routes. The Route L bus comes up from Philadelphia and goes to the mall. A lot of the other buses make a loop into the Metroplex. The L bus does not. Most of the people that you're going to find crossing the street get on or off the L bus. If the L bus made a loop into the Metroplex, like so many of the other buses do, and then continue on their route, the pedestrian chance of anybody getting hurt would lessen by about 80%.
Can I just comment on that? And I don't want to see anybody get hurt there either, but some of these people need to obey the lights also.
If you are a person trying to cross the street there, I have seen it, I've been in the traffic, I don't know how many times, that nobody wants to give the pedestrian a chance. I have seen it, people trying to cross Chemical Road on the gas station side, and trying to cross over. Nobody wants to let the pedestrian walk across the street. It's just a scary situation to sit in traffic and watch somebody take their life in their hands trying to cross the street. It's really
I see it
bad.
at the other end, at Ridge and
Yeah.
Chemical.
Yeah. And the L bus situation would help everybody, because people would be closer to their jobs, because people come up and they work in the Metroplex, or they work at IKEA, and it would get them closer to their jobs. And it wouldn't take a lot. And it would help the situation a lot. It wouldn't fix it, but it would help it a lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms.
Can I make a
Bramlett?
comment? Yes, I just want to make a comment because we've had a couple of comments from the audience about traffic. And I hope everyone here has noticed that our new chief, Mirciades, is going to be holding 4 town halls to listen to the concerns of residents about traffic, cut-through speeding, that sort of thing. Is everyone here aware of that? There are going to be 2 town halls at the Plymouth Fire Company, one at 2 in the afternoon and one at 7 p.m., so people with different schedules can come. September 26th, Chief, am I correct? 25th, say, correct me. And then the date for the second town hall is? October 1st. And that's at the community center, again, 2 in the afternoon, 7 in the evening. So I urge you and your neighbors who are concerned about some of these issues to come and hear not only our new chief's vision for our township, and he has some terrific ideas, but also so that you can express your concerns.
Additional questions or comments from the audience? Okay. Adjourned.